The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, hey, Sarge here.
Oh, hey, Frenzy here.
From the Sarge Approved podcast up here in Minnesota.
Yeah, okay.
You're listening to the Showdown podcast.
And you better keep listening, don't you know?
Fuckers.
Mommy's going to the beauty parlor, darling. But I'm leaving you with your favorite friend, Roger. He's going to take very, very good care of you. Because if he doesn't, he's going back to the science lab.
Cut! What the hell was wrong with that take? Nothing with you, baby Herman. You were great. You were perfect. You were better than perfect. Just Roger. He keeps blowing his lines. Roger, what's this? A tweeting bird? Tweeting bird? Roger, read the script. Look what it says. It says rabbit gets clunked. Rabbit sees stars. Not birds. Stars! Can we lose the playback, please? You're killing me, killing me. For crying out loud, Roger. How many times do we have to do this damn scene? Raoul, I'll be in my trailer. Taking a nap. Excuse me,
Please, Raoul, I can give you stars. Just drop the refrigerator in my head one more time.
Roger, I got on your head 23 times already.
I can take it. Don't worry about me.
I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the refrigerator.
This is the tale of an up-and-coming movie star named Roger Rabbit and a down-and-out private detective named Eddie Valiant.
Ooga booga.
Every moment they were together was a new adventure in trouble.
Hide me, Eddie. Please.
It's a motion picture about friendship,
Get easy. Please, Eddie. Don't tell me out. You're making a big mistake.
love, compassion,
Well, I'm sorry I yanked your ears.
All the time you yanked my ears.
murder,
Marvin Acme. The rabbit cacked him last night.
Remember, you never saw me.
sex,
I'd do anything for my husband, Mr. Valiant. Anything.
and violence.
Tunes gets him every time.
You wouldn't have any idea where the rabbit might be?
Got a thing for rabbits, huh? The whole thing stinks like yesterday's diapers.
It's a comedy a little different from all the rest.
I'm a pig!
I'm a tune.
I'm not bad. Let me just...
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you just happy to see me?
Touchstone Pictures and Steven Spielberg present a Robert Zemeckis film.
We tunes may act idiotic, but we're not stupid.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Welcome to the Showdown podcast. This is what happens when I can't find any music from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Brad Scott. I'm joined to my left here in the Miller's Zoo, Corey's Aquarium. We are joined by Corey Miller.
Hello.
And we are joined live via the newly sponsored Bottoms Up Skype line. Bottoms Up, Draft Beer, Warp Speed. We are joined by Vic Miller in White Ass, Delaware.
That's me.
And we're super excited.
Yes.
I'm super excited.
Yes. Well, we all are.
We finally have a real comedian on the show.
Yes.
We are joined from Comics Watching Comics. It is a show on Amazon Prime. It's available now, seasons 1 through 5. It is a great show. If you are a new up-and-coming comedian, it's honestly a great show to watch to get better. We're joined by Kevin Gootee. Kevin, how are you?
So I'm the first legit comic. Have you had a bunch of charlatans and half-assed ones before me? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That all describes me. So, yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, we have one on our show every
One's
week.
been carrying this show for 3 years.
Jesus Christ.
So, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. I want to get right into this because I started watching this show today, and I'm hooked. And honestly, when I get home tonight, after the NBA slate is over, my daughter is, I know, tucked away in bed. I'm going to binge watch seasons 2 through 5. It's basically what you've done is you've taken a tradition in comedy clubs, whereas kind of the because comedy clubs, for those of you who listen who aren't in comedy,
In the know.
yeah, it's a weird thing because like at places like open mics and stuff, there's like a handful of guys who are legit real comedians who work the road. That is their full-time job. It is going to be their career. And then you have the other group of people who like to say that they're a comedian. It is a fun thing to tell people. It is something cool about you. It is a good way to try to pick up girls in a bar. And a lot of times at the open mics, the legit full-time comics kind of congregate towards the back, or in my case, in my home club, it's the sound booth. And we basically kind of rip on the new people and kind of critique and, give our opinions on what we're watching, because you'll see just insane stuff. And you have made that a show. How did that come about?
Oh my God. First of all, boys, thanks for having me. How did it come about? It came about where kind of like what you just said. When one day I was at a mic, 3-4 years ago. And we were sitting there, and it was just one of the most awful mics I've ever been to. It was just, everyone went up who was just fucking awful. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm hot shit. It was just a slate of just straight garbage after another. It's like, it was like the perfect storm of shit, literally. and then, so I started texting one of my friends who was there. We just started ripping on them back and forth. And we were just laughing, jokes, which is kind of funny because maybe the comics were on stage thought that we were laughing at them or with them, but no, it was indeed at them.
Well, you've noticed
We were
that
actually laughing at them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
not laughing at
It was
them.
terrible. Look, again, everyone fucking eats dick. I eat who doesn't eat shit? So again, I'm not trying to sound like I'm bulletproof by any stretch of the imagination. But it was just that bad, and I started texting a friend. And I thought about it. So you know what? This could be something, but not like this, where it's just shitting on people. Because first of all, that's just shitty of a person. And then secondly, you'll never get anyone on the show again. So it can't be that. So I said, all right, what can we do differently? Oh, Last Comic Standing, I think, is fucking boring. Because all it is one big ass kiss fest after another. No one on that show is real except for Norm Macdonald on that last season. It was one big.
it's a game show.
What's that?
It's a game show more than it is like a comedian spotlight.
Yeah, but there was no edginess. There wasn't any truth at all. It was just, again, it was the participation trophy show. Everyone was fucking great. But Norm Macdonald was the only one who goes, nope, this is shit and I don't like it, and here's why. That's all right, that's what I want to hear. So I was like, well, let's do that, but let's take it with intermediate comics, because look, here's the story. Not many, there are so many thousands of comics here in the city. Only so many spots per the city. So it was just like, let's try and make this show better. And then I added the panel portion because people fucking love panel shows, it seems like. So I threw that in there. And then it just became like Last Comic Standing and At Midnight had a kid. So that's, sorry, not At Midnight, Mystery Science Theater 3000. And boom, there's the show.
And as someone who literally, it's the only job I have. You guys are all for legit. You guys are all for legit comics. So that's why I feel like if it doesn't come across as people just.
A lot of people would disagree with you on that the four of us are legit. Maybe three of them, maybe I'm not, but the internet would vehemently disagree with you on some of those points.
I didn't disagree with a single point you guys had brought up about anybody, to be completely honest. Like it honestly felt like I was sitting around with comics I know watching open mics and kind of dissecting it, because you can see the ones that have the potential. You guys can even see past the jokes that don't work and see that they're good bits, because you hear that all the time. If you talk to a guy at an open mic who's new, who just bombed, but you see something in them, you'll say, hey, good set or whatever, and they're always like, are you kidding me? Did you fucking see? It's like you don't need the crowd at a certain point. You can kind of see the performer for the performer.
Right, exactly.
And how long have you been doing stand-up?
8 years come this March.
Holy shit, fuck you, man. I have been doing it 6 years longer than you. You are so far ahead of me. Good for you.
What do you mean I'm ahead of you? In what sense?
Well, you live in New York, right?
I mean, I'm in Northeast Jersey. I'm a 10-minute ride into the city. I do like 90% of my stuff in the city. So I don't live there, but I'm there. That's my spot. That's where I'm is in the city, like 90% of the time.
You're doing stand-up in New York. I'm in Wichita next week.
Yeah.
That's where you're light years ahead of me.
And it's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna sound dickish, but yeah, like, look, here's the straight up truth is, like, 5 years.
Oh wait, hold on.
Thanks for ruining my flow, dick.
Oh, Corey, you're in fucking trouble. There's two of them.
I know.
How dare you ruin a fucking genius when he's speaking and giving pearls? You
Kevin,
No, I'm just kidding.
Kevin, give us 1 second. Vic, hit him. Vic,
I just gave it to him. That's for Corey.
Oh, there you go. Nice. I love the fucking wah. Yeah, no, and that's true. Like, if you're in a city like New York, I mean, New York is the mecca for stand-up. I'm not going to listen to any argument about fucking Chicago or L.A. Yeah, they're definitely in the top 2 and 3, but New York is where you go to be. L.A. is where you go to be seen. New York is where you go to get good. And New York, you're just surrounded by the greatest at all times. It forces you to up your game at a lot faster rate, and you learn a lot more at a faster rate.
Oh, absolutely. I love so many of the guys in New York. Phil Hanley is one of my favorite comedians.
Right.
I love Mark. I saw Mark Riccadonna is going to be on Smoke Up Seasons. I actually may have a story about Mark Riccadonna. I think I may have been working with him here in Indianapolis when a table of black people attacked me and called me a racist while I was wearing a Lupe Fiasco shirt. And
I attack you and call you a racist all the time. So
no, that's me.
Yeah, that's supposed to be Corey.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Corey.
I'm the one that looks like a terrorist. And that scene is just amazing. Are you familiar with someone, Abby Crutchfield?
I know the name. I don't know her personally.
She's been doing True TV. She started in Indianapolis. She's going to be a superstar, but she started in Indianapolis and she was good. She was legit, but I mean, she is a monster now, just from being out there in that environment. You're right, 100%. I mean, when I go to the open mic here in Indianapolis, which I try to make it out, Tuesdays when I'm home, there's no one pushing me. I'm usually one of the top 3 guys in the room. So there's a very easy
brag, ding.
Oh no. I kind of thought the fact that it was Indianapolis should have put the humble in that. But in New York,
hold on. I have my ADD is a motherfucker. If I type a name in the Skype box because I want to say it out loud, there's a guy in Indianapolis who's like new, but he swears he's hot shit and he wants to go to the show beforehand. I want you to tell me if you know this guy. Can you guys pull up your chat box?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Should we maybe have Vic do it so your phone doesn't fuck up?
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
You know, are all you guys in Indianapolis then or no?
I see it.
Should I say it out loud?
Can we say it out loud?
It's up to you, but I mean, well, do you know this guy or no?
I told Bob and Tom to fuck off recently, so we'll be good. Go ahead.
Okay, Samson Kirkman.
Oh shit! I know exactly who that is.
There's your response.
I will say this, man. He's got a good spirit.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, is that like a great personality?
No, okay, you know what? Here's why I don't feel bad saying this. Here's why, and I'm sure you come across this, especially now that you're doing this show, you have to be bombarded by new comics all the time. Here's why I don't feel bad saying this. He's got a funniness about him. Like, there is something naturally funny about him, but he doesn't put in the work, the legit work. He's never gotten better, and it's usually just... It's very local references. It's talking about probation, and it's very hacky material. But he could work his way out of it and work the VFW scene around the Midwest if he wanted to. But these guys don't put in the actual work. They think that putting in the actual work is just showing up to do the 6 minutes once a week. And when you try to explain to them, because they'll ask me all the time, how do I get into the Indianapolis club is Crackers? They're like, how do I get into Crackers? And I'm like, well, you got to show up every single week. And whether you get on the list or not, you've got to be at the club. You've got to make your presence known. They need to know who you are. You have to be getting better as you go on stage. That usually lasts about 2 or 3 weeks. And then I don't see them for 3 months. And then they come back. And then they ask me the same question. So he's one of those guys. He likes the idea of being a comedian. I honestly do. Like, he makes me laugh personally. But he's not a good comic yet. I say the yet because I'm kind of following your guys' rule. But... yeah, no.
He's very braggadocious about saying how good he is to me, and I'm like, all right, well, let's see when you're ready. And but he talks a lot of shit, so I was just curious to see if he's backing it up. But apparently, according to you guys,
no, it would just be me.
Yeah, it would just be.
It would be. Yeah, he.
Wow.
He's closer to open micer than MC.
Fred Norris back there. That's great.
Are you familiar with Kevin Downey Jr.? I'm sure that.
Yes, I know him. I know of him, and we've met in passing, but we don't hang out.
Okay.
He's actually with Ricky Donna's good friends.
Yeah, well, I think he's actually the one that got Ricky Donna into Crackers, my home club here in Indianapolis. But I do a very bad, funny Kevin Downey Jr. impression. But
all right, let's all get ready to hear it, and then boom when he's done. All right, go.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna fuck it up now because right now all of a sudden it's escaping me. But here we go.
Probably.
I love stand-up comedy, man. It's something I love to do. I've been doing it my whole life, and it's one of those things. That's it.
Okay.
You do that at the end that he does too.
Sip. That's the other part of it. I got it. I got hit with it. Right in the heart. I love that show. By the way, it would be my dream to be on that show because first of all, I love people critiquing, and I love actually the more mean the criticism is, the more honesty there is to it, and even that's where you can find the nugget to get better.
Right.
But I love how you guys you point out. There's something you pointed out to me that I do that I wanted to ask you about how bad.
Let me guess. Is it the fucking mic stand?
It is the mic stand. Can I tell you why I started that?
Next time you don't fucking with that mic stand, have one of your boys go up and just beat you repeatedly with that mic stand.
Well, it's not fucking with it that much. It's basically I set it to the side, and I'll kind of use it sometimes to put my left hand on because my ex-girlfriend got in my head about how much I moved my hands when I do my set. So that became my way to kind of
like you're doing now.
Control. Yeah, exactly. So that became my way. But that got in my head today when I was watching. I was like, God damn it. I thought I was past this.
All right. So Brad, shut up for a second.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to tell you, Kevin, I started watching. I watched the first episode while I was at work. So I was trying to not let my owner hear that I was listening to it. But I kept fucking laughing out loud, not realizing I was doing it after it happened. So from someone who's not in the comedy field, it's a fucking funny show. So I just wanted to add that point in there because Brad will keep going and you only have an hour. So I'm going to cut his ass off.
Yeah, I agree with what you said.
Yeah, no, that's funny. And that's the thing too. It's I try and pull the curtain back for all you normies, or as my friend Monica calls you, muggles, which is fucking funny. It just shows how it's like if you watch football and if you don't know the X's and O's, if you're just a regular person just watching football, this is what we're doing. We're pulling out the X's and the O's with comedy, what we do. And again, who doesn't love ball busting? Who doesn't love panel shows and shit like that? But yeah, it's just we're trying to promote comedy. I mean, yeah, the ball busting is part of it, but in the end, we do pick winners and we're trying to help people get better. As like I said as well, is kind of pull the curtain back on comedy and how things progress in a field where a lot of people think they can do it, a la the fucking funny guy in the office who's usually a jerk off, who thinks he can do it, and then harsh reality kicks in and goes, maybe not.
Stand him in front of a mic and he fucking falls apart.
Or he just I knew one guy real fast. I knew one guy who thought he could do it, and he never did it. But what he would do is he would just he'd watch Letterman that night, and the next day kind of recite some of Letterman's jokes in conversation. And then one night, for 2 nights in a row, I caught Letterman, and he did the same jokes the next day. You fucking piece of shit, you!
You hack.
That on it, that was it.
Before we we'll move into the movie right after this. Well, the last question, since we are short on time. What is your opinion right now on kind of the climate in comedy where we're shifting towards? I feel like there's too many people having to apologize.
This is bad. This is fucking horrible. It's not bad. It's fucking horrible. You should not. Dumb people are, because of the internet, dumb people are allowed to have opinions now, and think that they actually matter. They don't. If you don't like something, that's fine. You're obviously allowed to have your opinion, but to spout off and say, you can't say this, bullshit. I can say what I want to say. I'm being paid to say what I want to say. Sometimes I'm paid. Let's be honest. And it's just like, no, the comedians are the last bastion of people who are allowed to say what the fuck what people who can't say at the office around the water cooler want to say. And for people to try and take that away is bullshit. This whole wave of you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say that. No. That's it. And any club who believes in that is a pussy club, and that's horrible if you do that.
That my opinion is, I think a large part of kind of the backlash our business gets is due to ignorance, because people don't understand. Comedy's like going to see a movie. You don't go to see a movie without watching the trailer first to see what you're going to watch. People don't do that. Almost every comedy club in America has a website that has bios, videos, and gives you an idea as to what the act you're going to see is. I was working a few years ago, the guy named Daniel Sloss. He's from Europe. He does Conan all the time. He's brilliant. He's really funny, but he does some edgier stuff. He's a bit about comparing the reaction parents see on their children's faces when they thank Santa Claus on Christmas morning, comparing that to the doctor when you thank God for curing you of cancer. It's a great fucking bit, and we had people that left and were angry, and that's not because they did not do any research before going to the show. Do you think if there was more of an awareness of that, we could stop some of it? Because I feel like that's what happens is people just go to a comedy club and it's like they expect, oh, well, whoever's going to be on stage is obviously going to, hit my sensibilities and entertain me personally.
No, well, some of it I agree with, but here's why I don't. Because here in New York, they have street teams selling tickets to tourists all the time. So you're going to get people. Oh, there's a kid. What's wrong, kiddo? Hold on. What's up? Oh, we're not going to watch. This is in Arabic. You're not going to understand this. She's 2.5. She pulls up YouTube like a champion. It's hilarious. What do you want to watch, kiddo? You want to see something else? What do you want to see?
Does she like watching the videos of people playing with toys? My daughter was obsessed with those.
Oh my God, yeah, I love that. Here you go, kiddo. There you go. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You like that? Or the monkeys too. She watches all this stuff. It's hilarious. Okay, where was I? Street teams. So you're getting these tourists who don't know we're in New York. New York comedy's so great. Let's just go and we'll have ourselves a good time. And then they do, and then something happens where they may be from like a anal town like the Midwest or whatever, and then or wherever. South, and they go, someone says cunt on stage and their fucking ears perk up, or someone makes an abortion joke and it's game over, but a lot of people will say, let's just go to the comedy club. I don't think a lot of people do their due diligence. I mean, the hardcore fans obviously do. Like, I'm a huge David Tell fan, and I'll try and find out whenever he's in this, whenever he's at the Cellar. What was that? Whenever he's at the Cellar, then I'll try and make sure I'm there. Or when he does this week-long show at Caroline's, he's doing time for an hour and a half, I'll do that. But I think a lot of people just show up willy-nilly, or they buy Groupons. There's a ton of comedy clubs that do Groupons. Oh, let's get a Groupon. Oh, we'll go Friday. What the hell? And then boom, they don't know who they're seeing. They could end up, they think that someone like Gaffigan's going to show up, and then they get like Nick DiPaolo, who's, super, on edge, who's super edgy, So I don't think that people do their due diligence. Most people don't do their due diligence.
I don't think they know to.
No, did you hear about the latest thing?
The Tom Segura thing?
Yeah.
No, it's insane. I posted a thing about it.
No, I did not.
So Tom Segura in his newest special, Disgraceful, has a joke where we should stop saying it's retarded and start referring to it as 21st chromosome, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something along those lines. And I'm so embarrassed to say this, a woman from Indiana, of course, is now trying to get...
By the way, I was actually born in your dumb state. My parents just had a good common sense to move the fuck out when I was 3.
Well, you got luckier than I did because you were born in Indiana, got to New York. I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and have been stuck in fucking Indiana.
Now that is retarded.
Yes. That is the 21st chromosome. But she's wanting Netflix to pull the special. She's demanding an apology from Tom Segura. And the thing that bothered me the most about it is the word she kept using was she was attacked. She was attacked. You can be attacked by a shark. You cannot be attacked by a streaming service. You can get 1 star and you can never watch it again. That was kind of the whole reason I brought that up. It feels like people are going out of their way to find reasons to be offended, and everybody wants the apology, and then it also feels like maybe she has some other things going on, like she has a hidden agenda she's trying to push for some 15 minutes of fame for some groups or whatnot. But all right, we're ready to talk.
Let's do it.
Roger Rabbit?
Yes. Weird segue, but that's what we're
doing. That is the from it's a movie about a retarded ass rabbit, and we like to play a little game here on the Showdown with one of our hosts, Corey. It is called it's actually the most popular segment we have. It is brought to you by Creative Marketing. Creative Marketing, that's creative with a K. Check out Creative Marketing for all your signed t-shirts and website needs. It's time for Bankroll or Bust.
And on this week's Bankroll and Bust, it's Corey, our less than
stellar.
Yeah, stellar guest host that always fails, but we're going to see if he can do this. Corey, I'm going to give you a break this week. I'm going to give you a hint and remind you that this movie was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures Distribution on a budget of
which means it was distributed in Mexico.
$6 million.
What was that title?
What was the box office take? $50.6 million was the production budget. What was the box office take?
I have an idea.
All right, Corey, let Corey go first because he'll be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
150.
All right, Kevin, your guess?
Roger Rabbit was a hit back in 1988. At first, I saw the preview, go, this looks like shit. Then I waited for VHS. Yeah, I'm that old. And it actually destroyed. This is the number in 1988 or according to today's standards?
This would have been the box office take at the time.
At the time,
no adjustment for inflation.
No, I know, I got you. Because actually, I do a game on my podcast. We do something like this too. Oh, someone wants a cookie. I'm going to say 1988. What was big that year? I think that was one of the biggest things that summer. I'm going to say 171.
All right, and now there will be a $5 million leeway for both of you, one way or the other. So Corey was 150. And Kevin, you were
171.
71. Vic?
Yeah.
And Kevin, as our first guest host to do this show, I am sad to say you both failed. The box office take for this movie was $329.8 million.
Why was it? Hold on. Did you say domestic or worldwide?
It's the box office take overall. It's just the overall box office.
Motherfucker! I
told you.
I
bought the complete box office take for the movie.
We should have told you.
Bullshit. I would have obviously.
We should have told you, Kevin. This was a game you could never win.
Can you pull that up? Pull the domestic.
Vic, do you have the domestic number?
I do not, but I will find it for you. Continue speaking,
yeah,
gentlemen.
We should have warned you to stay far away from whatever guess I had, because I'm never close to being right.
300 million worldwide. How was there not? Who else framed Roger Rabbit? Or how was there
I think
never
you could only
a
frame
sequel?
him once, couldn't you?
Nah, talk to OJ about that. you could go multiple.
Well, hell, they had a script for E.T. too, but thank God they shelved it. If you read the script, give me 2 seconds. Let me get her a cookie. Hold on.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we got a cookie in my. Here we go. I love bribery. It works great. All right, what's the domestic box?
Okay, the domestic box office take for this movie was $154,112,000.
Wow.
Which means Corey would have been right on the domestic only.
He would have.
But this is a game
Too bad
you
we
cannot
do it for
win.
the overall box office take.
This is a game you cannot win, Corey.
That is tomfoolery at its finest.
No, Kevin, to be fair, if you would have guessed 300 and something, we would have said, no, we just do domestic. So it is a game you cannot
win.
win.
It too. I completely believe it.
So let's talk Roger. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. What did everybody think? Does this movie hold up? We will start with our guest, Kevin. Does this movie hold up years later?
I recently watched this film a few months ago. So when you reached out to me, go, oh, perfect. I don't have to watch it again. I do like this film. It does hold up. And I will say this. I'm a movie fucking snob. In fact, I do a podcast called the Sportsbook Box Office Podcast. We talk about, you better believe it, sports and movies. This film has the dubious honor one out of the 2 films has this dubious honor of getting there's 2 scenes in these 2 films. Both of them are actually fucking Spielberg films where I get so visibly shaken up it drives me nuts. The first film is E.T. When those flowers die, I start fucking tearing up like a bitch. It's that. And when he goes home, forget it. I saw the movie three times in the theater and I cry like a fucking girl, and I still can't watch it. It tears me up. If I hear the music, I go, oh god. The second one is Roger Rabbit. When the judge kills that little
shoe.
Yeah.
Yes.
So unnecessary.
What a little whimpering shoe that was just nuzzling up to him because he loved him and he fucking whacked him.
Fucking kills my. What a piece of shit. Like, if I ever see Christopher Lloyd, I'm like, dude, I love Back to the Future, and then I punch him in the face, go, that's for killing the shoe.
Right.
Fucking jerk off.
Squeaky shoe.
Yeah, I get so, I'm like, oh, I get so sad when he kills that shoe. I almost have to look away. I'm like, oh, that's so fucking, oh, it gets me every
the
time.
worst part is he doesn't do it fast. He puts its mouth in the thing and you can hear it whimpering. It's like, but its mouth is melted. So the poor fucking thing, oh, it's horrible.
Oh, it's so gut-wrenching.
It's so horrible. Vic is going to recount
I can watch people get dismembered. I can watch Schindler's List where the Jews go in the house. Yeah, that sucks. Like, yeah, that sucks. Okay, all right.
That fucking shoe, though.
Yeah, the shoe. Yeah, the shoe. Reagan, we don't have Peppa Pig. You have to go out in the other room. The shoe gets me every goddamn. I get so mad. I'm like, fuck.
You know, I've got an idea. You know, we talk about sometimes on the show about having shirts made up. I've got one. You put the shoe on it and says "Rest in Peace," and then it's got some years. Like the year that he died is the year the movie came out.
You want to recreate that? Why don't we also just put missing children's pictures on a shirt and try to sell those? Vic, did it hold up for you?
I watched this movie. I actually watched it again today. And as a matter of fact, it just ended as we were having our little fight with fucking Skype. And I can tell you right now that I hadn't seen it in years, like literally years. But literally the please Eddie, the shave and a haircut thing, like all of that stuff is always something that I remember. Like I don't even have to really watch the movie to remember and hear those scenes in my head. This movie definitely holds up for me in every possible way. And that fucking scene with the shoe, I agree with you completely, Kevin. It is like almost heart-wrenching that I have that much emotion for a not real object. But yeah, it definitely holds up.
Were there any black people in this movie?
Of course not.
Yeah, the Weasels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you know.
Yeah, didn't they also work at a jazz nightclub?
Right.
How about Benny the Cab? He might have been black.
That's true. But he had white wall tires, so.
Wow, we're really getting down that path, aren't we?
Corey?
I'm a black man with a white voice, so you know it happens.
I mean,
yeah, we have to remind people he's black.
You guys come from the land of Mike Pence, so I'm not expecting much.
No, we're okay with the blacks. It's the gays we don't like.
East Coast. I'm a fucking transplant to Indiana. You can't lump me in that shit.
Yeah,
where are you from the East Coast?
I was born in Jamaica, Queens, New York.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Raised in Philadelphia.
Oh,
ended up in Indiana, and now I'm in fucking white ass Dover, Delaware.
You've picked it's like the 3 out of the 4 white trash capitals of the United States.
Look, I go where the money is, man. That's just how it works.
Right.
Corey?
Right.
Yes, this still holds up for me. I hadn't seen this movie for a long time. And finally, and then when I watched it this morning, I was like, this still holds up for sure. You?
I loved this movie as a kid. It came out in 88, right? So I was 6 when it came out. So I had a little Roger Rabbit stuffed rabbit. I had the little toys. I believe they were from like McDonald's or something, of like all the weasels and then the Roger Rabbit characters. I had the little Roger Rabbit thing that went on the car window. I absolutely was obsessed with this movie with the kid, and I liked it more as an adult because I got more of the movie.
Right.
So it absolutely holds up. That makes it unanimous. Now let's not dwell on dying shoes. As we know,
awesome.
Vic wouldn't have been able to get through the rest of the movie if there would have been some J's that he murdered.
Yeah, I would have fucking thrown something at the TV.
What were some of your other highlights?
You know how much that fucking shoe's worth?
Because I noticed as watching it as an adult, like, because I remember as a kid, I would at times get bored when it was like too many humans on the screen. But as an adult, became, like, I relate to Eddie.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of comics.
R.I.P. Bob Hoskins. R.I.P.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else that could have played this character.
I disagree. Well, I mean, Bob Hoskins, who the fuck is he? He's done stuff, but it's just like, come on, you could have plugged in a bunch of no-name B guys, even C guys. I mean, what did Bob Hoskins? Come on, what else is Bob Hoskins known for?
He has the greatest interview answer in history, which is somebody asked him, "What is your biggest regret as an actor? What is the movie you're most disappointed in? And what is the one movie you wish you could go back and never do?" And his answer was Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers.
There you go.
Yeah, I think anybody else playing. I think
I'm glad he called you on that bullshit.
No, I think
absolutely 1,000 people could have played that part.
No, I think he was perfect for the role. I think it was great.
Go back and find me any movie where there's a cop who's drunk.
He was very good, but not irreplaceable. It's like, for example, when you hear all these stories like Stallone was supposed to be Axel Foley. Like, come on, man. Eddie Murphy is not going to get touched in that role.
Yeah.
Or Rodney in Caddyshack. Or Ted Knight in Caddyshack. Like, you can't replace those guys. Bob Hoskins in that role, you can get a bunch of guys to play like an alcoholic down as look detective.
All right, so here's my
That's
question.
an entire genre, isn't it?
We have done this 1,000 times on this show. Then I have to ask you, who would you recast as Eddie Valentine?
I can tell you one guy.
All right, go ahead.
Winnicott. I would cast Clint Howard. Who framed Roger Rabbit? He's a cartoon rabbit. He murdered.
Wow, I'm just
my brother directing.
That would have killed the movie.
I'm just picturing him in the role. Yeah, that's kind of a creepier Eddie Valentine.
Is Ron directing?
I only signed on because he's directing.
Do I get to fuck the redheaded cartoon? I've creamed my jeans already.
For me, I don't know who else I would put in that role. To be honest, I thought Brad.
All right, I'm back. What's it? So we're asking who should play Eddie Valentine?
Yes.
You can have a bunch of. There's so many different guys.
In your mind, based on the character and how Hoskins did it, who would you replace him with? Who is off the top of your head? Who would be the first person you could think of?
John Leguizamo.
Oh, why? Another Super Mario Brothers reference? Nick Nolte was the first one that came to mind. You can have like Dennis Hopper. Any kind of like grimy, like old white dude with pockmarked face, that's who you can have play this Eddie Valentine. Again, that's a very non-specific role that I think a lot of guys with any kind of talent can play. It's not an original role where the person just. It's like you couldn't have like anyone else play Ace Ventura but Jim Carrey. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you could plug in a bunch of those guys, like I said, a Hopper or a Nolte, and they could have played Eddie Valentine and been like, all right, fine, done.
I would have recast the shoe with Kevin Costner.
With Kevin Costner?
Just so he could get dropped into that vat of acid and we would have never had to suffer through Field of Dreams.
I just feel bad for the other shoe.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Bad-mouthing Field of Dreams.
It's the worst fucking movie in history.
Yeah, I hope you fucking get your nuts caught in a fucking tractor trailer backed over for Field of Dreams is one of the best films. Like, that's probably one of the best baseball films of all time. Between that and Major League, you hate Field of Dreams?
Oh, it is nowhere near the class of Major League.
Well,
Field of Dreams is fucking boring.
Let's support this motherfucker right now, Trump. Let's go.
No, you know what? You know why you like it? Because you live in fucking New York. If you're around corn that much, the last thing you want to see is fucking 2 goddamn hours of more corn and somebody go, oh, build a baseball field in it. No, build a fucking road out of this goddamn town.
You heartless piece of shit. It's about his father.
Fuck his father. I hate Kevin Costner.
That's a white person problem. I don't even know my father.
I don't like Kevin Costner.
Jamaica is hilarious.
Yo, so here's my negative take on this. How come pretty much the only ghetto in town was where the Toons lived? Do you want to know who the black people in the movie were? It was all the Toons. That was the only ghetto in the movie.
They just trapped all the black people into cartoon characters.
Yeah, they turned them into the cartoons. That was how they got rid of us.
I thought the animation mixed with the real life actors. I thought that came across really well. It still looks good.
Could you really still do that movie like updated nowadays? Like, what would be the classic side cartoon characters? Like, you had Daffy Duck in this one.
See, that's the deal. Like, by sending it back in the 40s, it was easier to do. Like today, you couldn't do it because you'd have Rick and Morty.
Powerpuff Girls.
It would be a very weird thing to do with like contemporary cartoons.
It kind of in a related way, you kind of had that with Wreck-It Ralph, because there were scenes where a lot of different of the characters from different video games are all in the same scene, so that you kind of had it there. But that's probably as close as it's ever been since this movie.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls was the one I thought of immediately too. My daughter used to be obsessed with that show. But there's not like, I mean, is Bugs Bunny? Kevin, does your daughter does she like Looney Tunes? Does she watch those like the old school cartoons?
That's a great question. I'm sure she's 2.5. I'm trying to get her right now. She loves Daniel fucking Tiger and Peppa Pig and some Sesame Street.
Oh, Peppa Pig.
I want to get her on. I have all the Looney Tunes as well. I literally have the DVD set on my desk right now because I put them on my office here when I'm doing shit. But yeah, I want to get her on it as soon as possible because that's one of the greatest cartoons ever made.
Yeah, absolutely. Like get her into Animaniacs. They're still young enough and kind of silly enough without all the craziness. There's more craziness towards it. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. But no, yeah, it's. I don't know. Like if you did, I mean, you could probably get away with doing it if you did like the
Boondocks.
like the 80s.
It'd be Who Framed That Blank Roger Rabbit. You usually go to Vic for that part.
Yeah. White Jesus, help us all.
Ginger Jesus 2K, help us all.
Yeah,
Check out
exactly.
Ginger Jesus 2K on all social media. Ginger Jesus 2K, saving the brown shirts. All right. So Vic, who would did your kids grow up watching the Looney Tunes?
Yeah, mainly because I'm still a fucking 12-year-old. So yeah, they were ingratiated with all of that. And obviously the great thing is like YouTube and all of the streaming services made it easy for me to show them all that stuff. So it's definitely something that they all grew up with and enjoyed.
Corey, your daughter?
But yeah, we still had that problem of like Powerpuff Girls and that kind of thing were actually in their time frame. That was their time frame. So that was one of the bigger cartoon things. But when they were little, it was like fucking Caillou, that little ball bastard and shit like that.
Oh, my daughter used to love
that's long before my time, thank Christ. I heard he's a fucking twat, that Caillou.
Yeah, that fucking Caillou's ridiculous. It's horrible.
Not as bad as Team Umi Zumi.
I don't know what that is.
Or the Wonder Pets.
Have you watched Caillou?
No, but the Wonder Pets are the worst fucking excuse. You're supposed to be like this superhero team, but it's just a fucking a turtle, a duck with a lisp, and they just fucking help kids get like cereal for their milk for their cereal and shit. They don't do anything.
Listen.
Relevant.
Here's my line of when I was growing up. All right, Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and then when I was older, it was nothing but Transformers, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Thundercats,
He-Man, Mask, Thundercats, right?
Darkwing Duck,
Silverhawks,
Danger Mouse.
I was more on DuckTales and Darkwing.
Oh yeah, DuckTales over Darkwing Duck all day. Remember that used to have that lineup. They used to have that block. It was like DuckTales,
It was
Rescue Rangers,
Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. Yeah. And then was it? Yeah.
I didn't realize till I was an adult that one guy's name was Monterey Jack because of a cheese. I was like, he must be fucking French or something.
Well, that's like with this movie. There were jokes in this movie that as a kid I would have never understood, but hearing them now, I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Dude, that's the best thing though. Like if you go back and watch some of Bugs Bunny, you would be fucking amazed at the shit they were throwing in there. Like in that time they would have been completely offended by. And like as I grew up and got older and went back and watched some of those things, I was like, holy shit, this is some dark crap coming out of these cartoons that I never knew was there.
Have you seen?
The World War II propaganda with the Japanese and the slant eyes. Like if you watch the fucking DVDs now, they're like, listen, this happened at a time when more appropriate. Da 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 da. So be understanding that it's going to be a little bit more.
Yeah, they put it on the
dicey
actual like DVD box. Like, hey man, you know when this was from.
Yeah.
You know what you're gonna see. And then this Indiana mother calls in and demands that they remove all of it.
Because Bugs Bunny attacked her.
But in the good news, though, Bugs Bunny and company have turned us on to countless quality classical music pieces.
That's true. And Tom and Jerry did too.
Fuck Tom and Jerry. Those are for cucks.
Wait. You're going to come on this show and insult Tom and Jerry?
Watch me. I'll do it.
That whole cartoon was about Tom's father.
Don't ever bring up Tom and Jerry and Field of Dreams. That's the alpha and the omega of greatness right there.
My daughter actually asked me the other day, she goes, why doesn't Tom or Jerry ever talk? And I go, I don't know. Like, it's have shit to say. She was like, well, but like, I want to know why Tom's
because they would make it skilled. You make it skilled instead of having this, mumble jumble bullshit. What an awful, awful, awful incarnation that was.
Have you seen the current version of that fucking cartoon where they do talk? It's not any better.
Wait, they don't probably have violence anymore, do they?
They do, but it's not graphic.
Yeah, man. Back in the day, they were going at each other's throats.
Hell yeah.
There's Bloods and Crips.
Shoot fucking red hot pokers into each other's eyeballs and shit. Like, yeah, it was rough. They don't play these days. It's too the kids can't handle it.
Brad, was there anything that you liked? Was there anything you liked about the movie at all?
About Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
I thought I'd been listing off several
dislike.
things.
Dislike.
Dislike.
Corey messes up sometimes, and we let it be. It's that 20%.
Honestly, not really. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but there wasn't. I would feel like I would be kind of nitpicking.
Yeah.
But
nothing stood out. So, what was the biggest highlight for you though?
I remember as a kid, my favorite scene was the dueling pianos with Daffy Duck.
Oh yeah,
that was my favorite scene as a kid, and I loved it as an adult.
Vic, you?
I like anything with baby Herman, like crack me the fuck up.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've got a man's lust in the baby's dinky, and he just fucking walks off with a fucking cigar. Fucking baby Herman was the shit. I loved him.
Kevin?
Funny. And it's funny, by the way, too, how Kathleen Turner sounded like okay there, but you get the beginning and the end with her voice.
Mm-hmm.
Now she sounds like she's a hauling fucking lumber across the country, and fucking tunnel bunnies in Topeka, Kansas at a rest stop. Like that voice has got polyps and fucking cancer all over. Like, oh my God.
She swallows because it soothes her throat.
Wow, Vic.
Oh, yeah, you're kidding.
I'm just saying what everyone was thinking, Corey. It's okay.
You are now a comedian.
What?
Welcome to depression and anxiety and neuroticism. It's fun.
Gotcha. I thought that was just.
Check me out at the Comedy Zone this weekend in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
I thought that was just being a black.
That 8-hour drive is going to be worth $270. I can tell you that right now. But okay, so we're running out of time. What question? Everybody, I want to go around. We'll start with Kevin. If you could only watch 2 cartoons, you get the entire library of the cartoons, but you only get 2 for the rest of your life. Now, you can't say Looney Tunes. You would have to pick a specific character from Looney Tunes. What 2 cartoons could you live on for the rest of your life? Kevin, we'll start with you.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I can only pick a character from Looney Tunes, you're saying?
Like, you can't say Looney Tunes and the whole bulk and get like everything.
If you say
so,
Looney
like,
Tunes, you get
every
all
Bugs
of the
Bunny character, every Daffy Duck cartoon, you could get that, but you can't say Looney Tunes as a whole. There's just too much.
I mean, I would say, I have to pick one character from Looney Tunes. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
No.
Or one cartoon. You could say Animaniacs.
Let me straighten this out for you. What he's saying is pick a cartoon, pick any 2 cartoons. But if you were to say Looney Tunes, it encompasses so many different cartoon characters that it would be too easy. But if you decide Looney Tunes is one, you'd have to say like, it would have to be Yosemite Sam cartoons or whatever like that.
I gotcha. Boy, there are so. I mean, I would say Looney Tunes for sure, but I mean, I would listen. There are a bunch I cut out. Like I cut out every fucking Pepe Le Pew. That was huge. I mean, he's the original Bill Cosby. Let's be honest. And then I mean, who the fuck? You gotta go Bugs because there's so much crossover with everybody else. So I'm gonna say Bugs just because he has crossover with pretty much everybody.
That is a smart pick.
Yeah, I mean, I love Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. I love Daffy Duck, but the best Daffy Duck ones are when him and Bugs are doing shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Speedy Gonzalez is great, but if I have to, so Bugs is one, and the second is Transformers, and that's it. And those are the two.
Oh no, I'd specify, my friend, because there's some pretty shitty Transformer cartoons out there.
Well, then obviously, you don't listen. There's only one Transformers, and that's all I'm
Gen
going to say.
G1.
That's it. I don't acknowledge anything else.
Great, thank you, sir. I appreciate your honesty, and I agree with you wholeheartedly.
That's because you're smart and pragmatic. That's why.
Vic, let me guess. Boondocks and Mammy cartoons.
No, Afro Samurai.
All of the. I'm gonna go with any of the Looney Tunes that had blackface. Gen 1 Transformers.
Right.
Gen 1 Transformers is absolutely my number one pick in that category, and then Silverhawks.
Oh yeah, baby!
Silverhawks
reference. Woo!
Love that cartoon. I don't care what anybody.
You got a lesson at the end of every episode.
Around with a giant squid in space. Fuck, that shit's awesome.
Yuck. What's next? Fucking GoBots?
Now we've already established that was the illegitimate aborted child of Transformers.
Oh my God! Gargoyles, is that next? You know what's actually I rewatched recently that's pretty damn good and it still holds up, the Batman animated series. Pretty fucking
absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing that can be said bad about that as far as that.
And the film, the Mask of the Phantasm, also pretty fucking good.
Yeah, but did you see the Killing Joke?
DC
No, I
is
did not see Killing Joke.
Look, DC is the best company when it comes to making animated movies. Like when it comes down to it, Marvel can't hold a candle
Not the
to
Killing
this
Joke.
when it comes to their animated.
no.
Well, we're talking
Killing
about
Joke was fucking awful. I don't know why they felt the need to have Batman
not particular
fuck
episode.
Batgirl on the roof when that's not even in the Killing Joke comic. That's my favorite comic book ever. I mean, it's my favorite comic book character, and his origin story is he's a failed stand-up comedian. It's the most relatable thing I've ever read in my entire life.
Because they needed to have a reason for Batman to really be pissed off that he fucking made her quadriplegic, paraplegic. Anyway,
you guys must have one hell of a female audience with all this fucking talk about comic books and cartoons and shit, right?
Oh, we're really
Hey, they're out there, brother. They're out there. Have you ever been to a comic book convention?
Hi,
There's a
Samantha.
ton of them.
They should call this podcast "Swimming in Pussy."
Brad stopped saying cunt, so we can't. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm progressing.
Yeah.
All right, Corey, what's yours?
Well, as soon as Brad asked the question, I knew what to. One of them is Transformers G1, as you guys have already said, and Mask is my other one. I grew up
Mask is fucking weak.
I loved that as a kid, though.
They made a cartoon about Rocky Dennis?
Yes, they did.
The toys were great, but the cartoon sucked, though. I gotta say.
Yeah, they probably did. I would not be surprised.
It was bad character development, but as a kid at that time frame, I liked watching it.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
It wouldn't have topped my list though.
I loved He-Man back in the day, but try watching that now. Watch that shit is boo boy. That is fucking, shivers up your butthole, man.
I would run in the house. As a kid, throw my bag down, flip the TV on, and sit the fuck down and watch He-Man and G.I. Joe. And I love G.I. Joe. Like I'm still to this day a big fan of G.I. Joe. But I like you said, like you can watch He-Man, and you're going, what the fuck? Like watching it now. You're like, that dude's running around in a loincloth with a pussy fucking ass cat and a bunch of his buddies. This is ridiculous.
I remember the first time I found out He-Man was a cartoon. We had already been playing with the toys for a while, and we came in, turned the TV on, we saw the end credits with just Castle Grayskull in the credits. My friend and I looked at each other and go, what the fuck is that?
I thought you meant like you had seen the cartoon, but you weren't sure if that was like live action or if that was animated.
No.
I had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain with that fucking microphone. That was dope.
Yeah. Brad, what about you?
My two would be The Simpsons and Thundercats.
All right, fair.
Thundercats?
Yes.
Yeah.
The original.
That was my favorite cartoon as a kid.
Oh yeah, that reboot was some dog shit, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
God, it was. Oh.
They tried to make him Asian.
What the?
Panther is black, okay?
And he's
a panther and he talks like this.
Right.
I mean, not like that, but like Vic. Well, no, not like Vic. Like that one black guy we had on the show back then. So I would go Thundercats and Simpsons. Simpsons is just I know people have shat on the past 15 seasons. I still like it, and I still think it's good, and I still think it's
it's not good. I've never missed an episode, never. But my God, after the film, it's been a steady decline.
But they've had their moments. The Waverly Hills episode was good.
Barely had their moments.
I mean, but this is what, 20-something seasons? 20?
At least.
No, you know what? I'm actually going to change that. It's not Simpsons. It's South Park.
South Park,
just because of consistency. That show. This last season
you
was
can't even
just
tell when
okay.
the damn show's going to come on and what order it's going to be in.
No, that's true, but
it takes them like 20 weeks to fucking do one episode, and you're like, so when's the
Wait,
next
for
episode
South
of South
Park?
Park going to come on?
No,
Yeah.
they literally do them in 6 days. In fact, there was a Netflix special called 6 days to air, not 20-something fucking weeks to air.
No. That's from the time it takes them to make it to the time that it takes them to put it onto, like, on TV. Like, it'll take them 6 days to make the episode, but the fucking station itself was so inconsistent at actually playing them properly. That's how I wait to watch the next episode.
Okay, I thought you meant
That's
like...
what killed that whole thing for me. That killed the entire show for me. I was like, when's the next episode coming on?
But
then it would fucking come on. It wouldn't be anything to do with the prior episode, even if it was to continue that episode.
The Caitlyn Jenner stuff they did was fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Buckle up, buckaroo. That was just... Because I thought I was the only person in the world that acknowledged that, yeah, she's not really a hero, because when she was a he killed someone. But anyways, happier news. We are running out of time, so this is the big wrap-up. So it survived. It was unanimous.
Yeah, it was
It goes in the
unanimous.
Hall of Fame, the prestigious Hall of Fame, the actual physical Hall of Fame, TBA.
Yeah.
TBA is for location, date,
Yeah,
and
we're still
funding.
We're still working
We're
on
working to
funding,
build
yeah.
one, though. We're going to build that Hall of Fame one of these days. So,
Starting Indiegogo.
Kevin, thank you so much. You can check out Watching Comics. It is available on Amazon Prime. Check it out now, especially if you are a new comedian. You should watch this show because you will be... Kevin, you ever seen the beer dispensing machine where it fills up from the bottom?
No.
It's really cool. You should check it out. It is they have them at arenas and bars and stuff. They put the glass on this machine and it fills the glass up from the bottom. It's a perfect pour every time. It's called Bottoms Up. It's the sponsor of this show, but the inventor, the creator of that machine, Bottoms Up, Josh Springer, he's trying out stand-up comedy. We'll help him work on his public speaking skills. He's getting really good at it for a newcomer, and he is excited to watch your series as well. So we're gonna be promoting the shit out of it on this show. Check it out, Watching Comics. It's available on Amazon Prime right now. And also, what was the name of the podcast? I apologize.
The Sportsbook Box Office Podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Libsyn, all that shit.
And we will tweet out links to all of that. So, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. We sincerely appreciate your time. This is a lot of fun, even though you're completely wrong about Kevin Costner and Field of Dreams.
Hey, hold on.
I hope you have a nice, comfortable seat next to Osama bin Laden in hell for God's sake.
I actually look like his younger version of himself, so that'll be a little weird. We could do the mirror thing.
And also, let's make sure to give a shout out to Sarge Approved for introducing us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Congratulate them on their 100th episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be on that 100th episode, but they fucked up the call. I was like,
yeah,
they
me
must have
too.
Corey.
They bumped their fucking boss, those motherfuckers.
We love them. Sarge, Frenzy, congratulations.
Congrats.
It's amazing you guys were able to pull off 100 episodes up there in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Nothing but...
And isn't it cute? It's so funny. Like when I first talked to them, I've talked to them guys a couple times on their show. And like the first 3 minutes, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that accent's heavy. They go, oh, don't you know, really? Like,
oh, dude, their bumper for us is fucking hilarious.
Are you serious? Like, you could cut that accent with a knife. My God.
It's like straight out of
make sure we use that bumper. For
Oh
this
yeah,
show.
yeah. The listeners, you can hear their Minnesota accents.
Yeah, you heard it at the beginning of the episode. It is it's hilarious. They're good people, and thank you so much for bringing us amazing guest.
Yep.
So Watching Comics. Check out Sports Book Box Office Podcast, available on iTunes and wherever podcasts are sold.
Brad?
Yeah, man.
Let everybody know.
Real fast.
Oh, yeah, sure.
This out. Comicswatchingcomics.com. You can buy the shirts on there for $20. Reach out via the website. You can get your shirts. Comicswatchingcomics.com. go on and see the video, the videos of the panelists. You can also see photos from the live show. So it's Instagram and Facebook is Comics Watching Comics. On Twitter, it's @ComicsWatching, and that's where you vote on your favorite panelists that you want to see come back to the following episode. That was the one thing that differentiates show from anything else, is that the home audience votes on their favorite panelists that they want to see come back to the following episode. So, and then I'm Kevin Gootee. Oh, it's a fireman. That's Kevin Gootee. There's a kid. KevinGootee.com for all my dates. KevinGootee.com and Twitter and Instagram, and that is that. I'm gonna go change Peppa Pig now. Guys, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Kevin.
All right, guys, take care. Thanks again.
All right, bye-bye. Brad, let's give your social media before we get out of here.
Oh, at Brad Scott Comedy or BradScottComedy.com for links.
Vic?
You can find me at MillerKing51 on all social media, and you can find me playing video games on all platforms because I fucking have them all now as Black and Angry. That's BLAQ, the letter N and Angry.
And you can find me on Letterboxd and Twitter at NKOGonzo. Just a side note, if you do follow me on Letterboxd, you can see my little blurbs on all the movies that I'm watching this year, the 365 movies.
Oh, yeah!
Days.
Real quick before we go, thank you for reminding me.
Yes, I know.
So, Vic, I was talking to him the other day, and he's so excited to tell me, and he was bragging about all the movies he'd watched. And what were you up to at that point? And maybe not exact number, but as far as where
one
you're
ahead at that
one
point.
ahead, right?
Yeah,
right.
And I just was like, you do realize you're bragging this much? You're 1/12 of the way through.
Way to knock him down.
Like you're this. You got 11 more fucking months of this to go, buddy. But he's doing good.
Yeah, I'm
proud of him.
I'm like 4 ahead right now.
Yeah, I said I'm all for it. I want you to do this because I would love to hear you just berate the shit out of me. He was awesome, by the way. But man, I was so intimidated. I was like, this dude hates me. but then I was like, he hates me. Maybe I should try to get on his good side and not talk shit about Kevin Costner. But my hatred for Field of Dreams and Kevin Costner was just too overwhelming. But seriously, I love that show now. Like, I cannot wait tonight. I gotta watch the NBA games first, obviously. But as soon as that's over with, when I start working on my Ginger Jesus stuff, that's what I'm gonna have rolling the whole time. And I can't wait. It is such a good show. You guys should watch it on Amazon Prime. Comics Watching Comics, and then make sure you check out Sportsbook, Box Office Podcast, available wherever podcasts are sold. I'm Brad Scott for Corey Miller.
Yep.
Vic Miller.
I do know D-Way.
You're the captain now.
I am the captain.
You have been listening to the Showdown Podcast.
Available on Twitter and Facebook at the Showdown Pod.
That's right. And the song's called Field of Dreams.
It sounds like shit. Who is it?
Bliss and Esso. So for the Showdown Podcast, I'm Brad Scott. For Corey Miller, Vic Miller, we're actually going away this time. Who framed me, buddy?